larger tent shelters.
5:08 today, people in Del Mar, they get a chance to sound off about plans to add a brand new oceanfront resort. Two local developers want to build a high-end resort on a 16-acre lot. That's one on Border Avenue, that's just west of Camino Del Mar. It would include a main hotel building as well as individual hotel guest rooms, residential units, also on-site employee housing. Beachgoers say the project would only add to the long-standing traffic problem.
We have so much traffic here in this area that I think it's good if we just leave it primitive.
That is a heck of a traffic problem if you've ever driven through that area. The city, they're holding a meeting tonight. That's at 6:30 at the City Council chambers on Jimmy Durante Boulevard.
Sounds fancy, though.
Oh, it does sound fancy, yeah.
But I can understand that woman there talking about how much traffic there's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But it does sound fun.
It does sound like fun, though. I know if you don't live there, it's like, ugh. All right, so let's show you what's going on as far as the visibility goes. So this is in miles, and you can see all areas looking pretty good. Maybe a little bit of fog trying to form in the South Bay, but visibility still just under 5 miles. Of course, we're going to track that through the morning because patchy fog could be an issue the next several mornings due to a very shallow and very low marine layer. Along the coast this afternoon, low to mid 70s. In fact, 73 downtown, 72 for Carlsbad, Del Mar, and Coronado, and a lot of 70s for our inland neighborhoods. A few 80s as well, like El Cajon and Ramona, and just shy of that in a few areas also like in Alpine, and a little breezy in our mountains and desert areas, but not nearly as dry as it's been. And not nearly as dry as it's going to be again this weekend. You can see those temperatures start to tick upwards. Sunday, the warmest and driest day of the stretch. I'm going to be pinpointing the changing weather pattern with returning Santa Ana winds in 8 minutes. Selena?
Well, top speeds right now on the 15 freeway and our Caltrans camera. This is right at Miramar Way. You can actually see both directions here. It looks like it might be a little bit slower on the southbound side, but I checked in with the CHP and there are no accidents here so far, just some Caltrans work that's about to wrap up. Right now, overall, though, everything else looking pretty quiet. You're right on the 805 northbound between the 54 and the 52, just 13 minutes, and the 5 freeway northbound at just 15 minutes between that same exact stretch. Also clear on the 78. I'll have your drive times here coming up in just a few.
Perfect, Lena, thank you. A dog poisoned during a trip to Fiesta Island. A powerful hallucinogen that was found in his bloodstream.
Several A-list celebrities joined the growing list of accusations against movie exec Harvey Weinstein. The backlash he's now facing outside of Hollywood.
An Airbnb rental equipped with hidden cameras spying on guests. The owner's defense after police put him in handcuffs.
A San Diego woman says her dog was poisoned on Fiesta Island. The drug, a powerful, dangerous, and illegal hallucinogen. Cooper is a 1.5-year-old lab beagle mix, and his owner, Anita Schrum, says that she took him to Fiesta Island Saturday, a place they go all the time, and it's while they were there that she noticed what looked to be like people using drugs, so she and Cooper moved to the other side of the island, and within an hour, Cooper started acting scared, was flinching and trembling, even hiding. His behavior continued all night, so she decided to drug test him.
So I work as a registered veterinary technician. So I took him to my work and I did a drug test on him, and it came up PCP positive.
Cooper has now recovered, but although Anita says that they are no longer going to that section of Fiesta Island that faces Ski Beach.
A developing story this morning. More and more women coming forward accusing major movie producer Harvey Weinstein of rape and sexual assault. These are some of the big actresses we're hearing from. Gwyneth Paltrow, also Rose McGowan, Angelina Jolie, Ashley Judd. But New York Magazine put together a list of all those allegations. And as you can see right here, it goes on and on. Each paragraph, a different accuser right here.
I pulled my arm away, finally, and headed to the door. He started following me and telling me that he could introduce me to Bob Weinstein and that I could get a 3-picture deal and that he would greenlight my script.
Many of the accusers are actresses, but not all outside of Hollywood. Weinstein is facing backlash from politicians he once gave money to. Nearly 5 days after the scandal broke, the Obamas and Hillary Clinton expressing shock at the allegations against the top Democratic donor. A spokesman for Weinstein issued a statement denying those rape allegations. She also says Weinstein is going to rehab. Weinstein's wife, she's announced she is leaving him.
A couple's vacation at a Florida Airbnb all caught on hidden cameras, and the renters say one of the smoke detectors looked out, so they checked it out, And they found a little pinhole right there, similar to that one there, and it was a camera. Now, the renters have only been there at that home one night, but they say the camera at least caught one of them naked. So police investigated, and they say the homeowner told him the cameras were for illicit parties. Well, he's been arrested and was banned from Airbnb. The couple have also shared this photo that they took in the actual room there, hoping that people will recognize it and come forward there. Police saying that the listing was on Airbnb for 2 years, so there could be hundreds of victims. I mean, it's like a hotel room, right? It should be treated the same way. There shouldn't be cameras allowed where people are, you know, comfortably residing.
And cameras are so small these days, you just never know where they might be.
I hate to say it, but this might be happening at other places too.
Sure.
So, yeah, beware. Watch for those pinholes, I guess.
Yeah, that's really
creepy.
creepy. Yeah, definitely creepy. All right, let's show you something that's not creepy. Downtown, maybe a little hazy this morning, but definitely not creepy. And we could actually see maybe a little bit of fog as you're heading in this morning. Overall, visibilities are looking pretty good across the county. The South Bay, they may have some fog trying to form, but visibility is still pretty good. Still over 4 miles. Other areas looking good, but we saw this change just within the last 30 minutes to an hour yesterday. So we're going to track that for you and let you know of any changes. So we're a little bit cool for some areas, a little mild for other areas. Look at this. Kearney Mesa, 64 degrees, but 10 degrees cooler in El Cajon at 54 degrees, and Ramona, a mere 45 degrees this morning. So quite a spread in our temperatures. Maybe grab that jacket as you're heading out. I know I definitely needed one as I was leaving my house this morning. So we have cooler weather moving into all of California. Great news for the firefight here. It's going to last a little bit longer here in Southern California, especially with the windy conditions, because red flag warnings have already been issued. They will go into effect later today for Northern California. For us here locally, this low pressure system is going to dive south and keep conditions fairly mild through the end of the work week with that cooler air. Up in Northern California, the winds are going to turn offshore a little bit faster. For us here locally, we are going to wait until late Friday at the earliest. More likely, you're definitely going to be feeling it more at least, Saturday and Sunday as high pressure builds and those winds turn offshore. Now, the strongest Santa Ana winds are going to be out of San Diego County, so that's some great news here. However, of course, we are thinking of the people in Anaheim. The winds are going to be stronger up there. In fact, parts of LA County are in a fire weather watch for the conditions coming later this week. We'll be up to 80 degrees on Sunday, the warmest and driest day of the week, when we'll see some 90s for our inland neighborhoods, but look at that, 70s through the end of the work week. And for our mountains, really nice temperatures in the 70s, 90s and 80s in the deserts. Kalina?
Still looking pretty clear out there. I just checked in with CHP and we are still accident free, and all of our Caltrans work actually already wrapped up. So the 78 right now heading westbound, just 16 minutes as you make your way into Oceanside. Overall, the rest of North County looking pretty good as well. 19 minutes, 5 freeways southbound between Oceanside and Del Mar. And here's an overview of the other roadways throughout San Diego County with their 10 News Live traffic tracker. No problems to report on the 163, the 52, or the 8. And we'll head out to the South Bay coming up in just a few minutes. Mimi?
I'm Mimi Alcala live downtown, where a gas leak forced families out of their homes early this morning. Now the leak is under control, but the repairs continue. I'll let you know which roads will be closed off this morning.
The commissioner of the NFL now wants all players to stand for the national anthem. How the president is weighing in this morning.
Cities around the country vying for Amazon's next headquarters. Why we face an uphill battle. Luring that online retailer here.
5:24 right now. And San Diego, it's dark and early, a little bit of a marine layer, might see some fog in some areas this morning, and a cooler day on tap. Maybe even turn your air conditioning off today. But we will go through our forecast as far as Northern California goes and what our conditions are like up there for the wildfires coming up with Megan.
A developing story. These NFL players' protests may soon be over. At the organization's fall meeting next week, team owners will talk about players not standing during the anthem. ESPN got its hands on a letter NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell wrote to all of the teams. He said he believes, quote, everyone should stand for the anthem. That's because he says it's an important moment in any game. Well, he didn't elaborate on how the league may change its policy. Right now, it only says that players should stand for the anthem, but it's not required.
And this just into the 10 News Live Center. President Trump commenting this morning on Twitter about that letter to the NFL. He's saying it's about time that Roger Goodell of the NFL is finally demanding that all players stand for our great national anthem, respect our country. Now, of course, I'm keeping an eye on all of the activity on social media, and I'll let you know if any of those players react to the president's comments. Back to you guys.
All right, Kalina, thank you very much. So Otay Mesa down here, Chula Vista, and the stadium site in Mission Valley, all circled on this map right here. Just some of the potential locations for Amazon's next world headquarters. Now, county leaders are scrambling right now to get their proposals in by the October 19th deadline. Yesterday, the Board of Supervisors officially voted to throw their hat into the ring, and cities across the country are submitting proposals just to bring Amazon in. Imagine the jobs that could be created here to help the local economy. Officials tasked with luring Amazon to San Diego say it's going to be tough competing with other areas that are offering billions of dollars in tax breaks to the company.
San Diego and the state of California have never been regions to roll out the red carpet in terms of monetary incentives.
Well, Amazon says their plans for what they're calling HQ2 includes $5 billion and possibly 50,000 jobs. So tens of thousands of Californians waiting to find out if their homes are still standing, where those deadly wildfires now stand, already among the worst in our state's history.
Breaking overnight, dozens of people forced out of their apartments and onto the street. What caused a gas line to rupture, smelling up downtown streets?
And the girlfriend of the Las Vegas gunman put on the no-fly list. What we're uncovering about the hotel that may explain how he got his stash of weapons inside.
Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
The inferno still raging up in Northern California, already among the worst fires in California history. Kalina Shrinos will break down the very latest numbers.
Dozens of families evacuated because of a gas leak downtown. Crews rupturing a gas line, now trying to fix that problem.
New information on the Las Vegas gunman, how he avoided security cameras, and the new step the government is taking to keep an eye on his girlfriend.
An overnight show of force, U.S. bombers flying near North Korea during a first-of-its-kind military drill.
Well, happening now, the deadly wildfires raging in Northern California are keeping tens of thousands of people from their homes. And this morning, here is what we know about the fires. Take a look at this. This is something that we posted on 10news.com, but you can go ahead and look at all of these photos and take a look at all of the devastation throughout Northern California. 17 people have been killed and more than 122,000 acres have burned. Also, more than 2,000 homes and businesses have been destroyed, and none of the major fires have been contained. Now, overnight, more evacuation orders were given, putting that number at more than 20,000. Also, more than 180 people have been reported missing and more than 100 have been taken to the hospital. Now, of course, the fire is still under investigation, and Jason, Renee, it might take a while until families are able to get some answers.
Absolutely, Kalina. Thank you very much. And meanwhile, how about the fire down in Orange County? Thousands of families there returning home yesterday, coming home to charred remains. Look what's left of that home. Fire officials lifted all evacuations from the Canyon Fire 2 last night. This fire scorched 8,000 acres around Anaheim Hills, destroying at least 14 structures, including homes there. Now, it's now 40% contained and expected to be fully out by Saturday. And Megan, I'm thinking this is because favorable conditions have helped firefighters.
Yeah, definitely. And they are going to be staying that way for the next couple of days. It's not the case up in Northern California, where red flag warnings, you can see widespread, will go back into effect later today. So these have been issued, but they are not in effect yet. Some of them start at 11 a.m., some of them at 5, and some of them at 11 p.m. tonight. So right now, near the Napa fires, you can actually see there's no red flag warning. So there's something, at least maybe. 43 degrees, the humidity is high, and the winds are calm. All great news here. The winds, you can also see those green lines, are onshore. That's ushering in more humidity. They will be turning offshore later this week, though. So the faster we can get a grasp on these fires, of course, the better. Temperatures also cooperating in the mid-70s the next few days. You see this tan color right here in parts of LA County, also in near Santa Barbara. Those are fire weather watches that will go into effect later this week. As of right now, there are no watches or warnings yet for the Anaheim area. We may see that change because winds will be turning offshore yet again later this week. Right now, though, temperatures are at 66 degrees, still pretty dry, but again, also a very mild day, mid-70s and not very strong winds today. Renee?
Megan, hopefully that mild day does help firefighters there. Well, the destruction around the state has people in North County thinking about the witch fire. That fire destroyed more than 1,000 homes. The 10-year anniversary is coming up later this month. 10 News anchor Jim Patton is live in Rancho Bernardo. Jim, some families are having some unfortunate deja vu.
You know, I would say anywhere you go around San Diego County that San Diegans, when they see wildfires happening anywhere, it brings up memories from them. You go back to 2003 with the Cedar Fire and the other wildfires then, and then in 2007, as you mentioned, the Witch Creek Fire, and there were other wildfires at that time as well. But the 10-year anniversary of the Witch Creek Fire is later this month.
When we woke up that morning, you just looked out the window and everything was red. And we knew we were in trouble. It's time to leave.
John Cunegonis lost his Rancho Bernardo home during the fire in 07. His was just one of more than 1,100 homes destroyed at that time. And looking back, he says the experience gave him a whole new perspective on fires.
If you have your house burned down, it changes your view on fire victims and victims generally. If you haven't had your house burned down or lost it, you think, yeah, what's the big deal? But if you've had your house burned down, you really feel for those people because you know exactly what they're going through. And it's a tough thing.
Absolutely, no doubt. And as I mentioned earlier, it kind of hitting close to home this time around up in Santa Rosa. I have an aunt who's lived in her home for 49 years, and she's out of her neighborhood right now, along with 3 of her adult children. They have been displaced because their area was hit very hard, and they think there's a very good chance that their home is no longer there, but they can't get back into the neighborhood yet to find out what has happened exactly. So that is ongoing. As far as the Witch Creek Fire and the anniversary, there are going to be a number of commemorations coming up in the coming weeks as we near the anniversary, the 10-year anniversary of that fire. Coming up in the next half hour, we'll talk about more tips in terms of keeping your own home safe. Also going to hear from more people who lost their home during the Witch Creek Fire. Reporting live in the North County, Jim Patton, 10 News.
Jim, thank you. Our heart's going out to your aunt.